So I was looking at your IMDb page. I noticed that you got your start with TV. So I was wondering if you preferred film or if you actually preferred TV, and if so, why for either one?
Yeah, I kind of love them both, which maybe isn't the answer you're looking for. But TV is great because it happens really fast. Like, it's instant gratification. Like, literally, you audition for the job, you find out in the next day or so whether you get the job, and then before you know it, you're on the set and you're working, and it happens very quickly. And there's just a really fun, sort of fast-paced feel to it.
Sure.
Feature films take a little bit longer. You know, that process can lag on for several months. And then, you know, sometimes you're shooting on location. Less so with TV, but sometimes that does happen. But it's kind of a totally different animal. So, I mean, they're both, you know, great. They're both great summer vacations, but one might be a city vacation and one might be a beach vacation, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm wondering how you actually got involved with the project with Vampire Hunter, because it sounds like just the title is amazing to me.
The title's super cool, and I actually, just got the audition just like anybody would, you know, through my agent. And I remember seeing the title and thinking, this is like probably the coolest, most intriguing title I've read in a really long time. I was mildly familiar with the book. I didn't know that they were making it into a movie. But when I found out who was involved, I absolutely jumped at the chance to work on it. So I was super excited when it came through.
Definitely, and that actually was going to touch on my next question about the book. Before you auditioned, did you have any time to read it or get an idea of what they were looking for before you went in?
I had no time. So literally, I got the audition, I went the next day, very quickly thereafter. This is actually a feature project that did move sort of quickly for me. Very quickly after I got the part, I was on the plane. I was literally on the plane to New Orleans reading the book. So it happened really fast.
Gotcha. While you're actually shooting, I'm curious, are there any cool stories that you'd like to share? Any like crazy stunts or just some funny moments offset with the actors, anything like that?
Well, my scenes are with predominantly Dominic Cooper. I play his girlfriend, Gabrielle. And, I'm mostly naked in this movie. And so literally my first day of work with Dom, I was naked in a bathtub with him. So it was kind of like, hi, nice to meet you. Let's
just
get naked.
thrown right in there.
Thrown right in there. But he was fantastic. He was super... he made me feel so comfortable, and he was super easy to work with. And at one point, I actually, we did a take, and I just, literally looked straight at the camera, and then I turned to Dom, and I said, oh, my God, I just looked straight at the camera, and he said, that's okay, I do it all the time. And I thought, okay, this guy's super cool. He's on my side. He's making me feel really comfortable. So he was just a dream to work with. Couldn't have gotten any better than that.
Gotcha. I know that Tim Burton is a producer on the movie. I'm wondering what it was like to work on a project that he was producing, and if you actually had any interaction with him. Was he actually on the set? Were you able to meet him?
I did not meet him, but I could definitely feel his, thumbprint all over the entire production. I've been a huge fan of him for years. He's very highly stylized. Everything he does definitely has a unique feel to it. And the moment I stepped foot on the set, I could tell, okay, this is going to be a really special project. I mean, from the costumes to the set design, it was so elaborate. It was so ornate. There was such attention to detail. I could tell it was just going to be amazing.
Gotcha. Outside of obviously the title being ridiculously awesome, are you a big history fan, or this type of genre? Are you a big fan of this? Was there one thing in particular that really drew you to this specific piece?
Well, I grew up in Charleston, in Charleston, South Carolina.
No way. So did I.
Yeah. No way.
I went to high school at Porter Goud. I don't know if that sounds familiar. I lived in Keel Island for 8 years.
Went to Ashley Hall.
You're our rival then, so maybe I shouldn't talk to you. No,
that is so funny. What's your name's Kevin Taylor, right?
Yeah. I went there. I lived there from. Let me think about this. It would have been first grade to ninth grade. So that would have been when I was about 7, so 94 to 2004 in that area, about 10 years.
Ah, that's so weird. I'm sure we know some of the same people. I love that. And you lived on Keel Island Commuted.
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's kind of a long commute, no?
It is, but my parents were driving, so I didn't really,
Yeah, you didn't care. They're like, shut up and ride.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing, don't you think?
Yeah, that's really funny, actually. But
That's hilarious.
the place is, I mean, Charleston's unbelievable. I love that city. I want to go back there for sure.
Do you ever go back to visit?
I went after just before I graduated college and after I graduated college. Me and Chris.
Where did you go to college?
I went to USC, Southern California. So not the South Carolina one, the California one. But I have a bunch of friends who still live there, and it's a really awesome place. I like it a lot.
I know. I was just there, and I'm going back next week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny offshoot or whatever. But let's get back to the interview. So you were saying.
My point. I mean, you know what a historic town Charleston is,
Definitely,
right? Like,
definitely.
You can't live there or grow up there and not escape like tons and tons and tons of American history.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I feel like it was kind of in my blood. I mean, much to my parents' chagrin, I'm not really a history buff, but you know, but of course, growing up in a town like that, I could certainly appreciate the sense of history, and I love vampire stuff. I mean, really, I got to say, my love for the vampire genre started probably with True Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Ball, like, to me, did so much to make that, like, really accessible in a really fun, you know, interesting way. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm super excited to sort of finally have jumped on the vampire bandwagon. It's super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm actually going to put you on the spot here. If you could work with any actor or actress, who would it be, and why would it be?
Well, I would love to work with Michael Fassbender. I think there's a really compelling stillness that he has, a very compelling intensity, focus, concentration, and stillness. And I love watching him on screen. Like, I saw Prometheus last night. I cannot take my eyes off of him. I find what he does to be, like, so complicated and simple at the same time. And I've heard, like, amazing things about working with him. I hear he's just, like, so incredible. So he would probably be my top pick off the top of my head.
Gotcha. And along the same lines, as far as directors are concerned, is there anybody in particular that you really want to work with in the future?
Well, I would love to work with Alan Ball. I mean, he's a writer. He's not a director, but like I said, I'm a huge fan of True Blood. And, you know, I've already worked with Christopher Nolan and Tim Moore. So, I mean, I've got, like, the two big heavyweights. I would love to work with Martin Scorsese, obviously. I would love the opportunity to work with Woody Allen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be my top pick.
Gotcha. Just a couple more questions. What advice would you give to any aspiring actresses out there who are, you know, obviously struggling to get their big break? What would you say to them would helped you out the most when you were?
Well, I think it's important to have a mentor, and not to have a mentor just for the sake of having a mentor, but having somebody who inspires you, I think, is really important. You know, having a guide doesn't necessarily have to be a teacher. For me, it was acting teachers, but someone who you aspire to be so that you can kind of have a picture of and so it's not so esoteric as like, oh, a movie star or an actor who's already made it, but, you know, somebody who you actually know, who you can connect with, who you can talk to, who you can share things with, who can kind of guide you, you know, on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis or whatever, and someone who can just mentor you through the process of achieving your goals, I think is super helpful and super important.
Definitely. Well, now that this is wrapping up, what's next for you? Do you already have a couple projects in the works, or are you looking to...
I have a movie coming out called Man Without a Head, starring Shannon Sosaman and Taryn Manning. So I'm really excited about that, and I wish I could tell you more about it, but the director's playing his cards really close to his vest.
Sure.
Online, somebody was like, hey, what's your movie about? He said, we're not looking for press at this time, which of course made the interviewer just want to know more. So I better not say too much, but I'm really excited to see what happens with that.
Definitely. Well, I think that wraps it up for the questions that I have. Is there anything else in particular that you wanted to talk about with the movie or anything else that's on your mind?
I think we covered everything. You did a great job. You can tell Crystal you did a great job.
I will definitely do that. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.